Welcome back to the 3 months of Modal Logic, the sequel to the 100 Days of Logic here with Carneades.org. Today we're going to be continuing with epistemic logic, looking at the meta-explanation operation. This is going to be another new logical operation that we're introducing along with justification logic. Let's take a look. So, imagine that some piece of evidence, say the glass on your front door is broken and your TV is missing, which we'll represent with M. Makes you justified in holding some belief. Perhaps someone broke into my house, which we'll represent with B. But what makes you justified in thinking that M in fact does justify B? What makes you justified in believing that this piece of evidence does in turn justify that particular belief? Perhaps you would cite some other reason. That's what it generally looks like when someone breaks in. I've seen break-ins before and they looked like this. I break into people's houses regularly and that's what I do. Whatever other piece of justification. Or perhaps you would say that M on its own is sufficient justification not only for believing that B, but believing that M justifies B. Hopefully that's clear. Perhaps you would say that M instead is justification not only for B, but for the claim that M justifies B. In order to explain this scenario, we're going to introduce a new operation to our justification logic. It's going to be represented with an exclamation point and can be read as, is sufficient justification for. Therefore, exclamation M would be, M is sufficient justification for. We could represent the previous scenario as follows. M is sufficient justification for M justifying that B. Or in other words, M is sufficient justification for M justifying that B. Now, if you're confused as to what we mean by sufficient justification, let's explain this. So what we mean is that if M is sufficient justification for M justifies B, that means that we can conclude from M alone both that M is justification for B and that B is in fact justified by M. Hopefully that makes sense. We're not only saying that there being broken glass on the floor and my TV being missing is justification for the belief that someone broke into my house, but also that there being glass on the floor and my TV being missing is sufficient justification for the claim that there being broken glass on my floor and my TV being missing justifies the belief that someone broke into my house. Skeptic, of course, is going to doubt that anything is going to provide any kind of sufficient justification, but we've harped on that enough in the previous video, so I'm not going to go into it too much here. Check out those videos if you're curious, and also check out Pyrrho and the Academics and Agrippa's Trilemma. Up next, we're going to be looking at a new axiom, which is going to use this new operation known as the positive introspection axiom. And it's going to map onto axiom 4. Watch a new video every single day for 100 days here at Carneades.org, and stay skeptical, everybody.